For my puppet movie, I need 3 puppet hats, a Greek fisherman's cap, a Southern gentleman's straw hat, and a duplicate of the straw hat in a somewhat tattered condition. I really like to make hats for my puppets. Here you can see Prince Ribbit from my puppet opera. He's wearing a nice tricorn. I think he looks a lot like Poldark. And here is Princess Bombina. She's a fire-belly toad. She's wearing a Hungarian wedding headdress. While I'm sure it's possible to order a hat on Amazon or to find a doll hat, I'm not sure I can find exactly the hats that I want, and I don't want to compromise on the design that's in my head. At the same time, what about size? I'm not sure I can find exactly the size that I need. And most importantly, I want to home make my hats. Homemade things have a certain quality about them. The variations, they're not perfectly made. They don't look like they were computer generated. And this type of homemade quality is what I want in my show. It just so happens that I have plenty extra of these fantastic hats that I bought at a market in Hungary. I have mixed feelings about cutting my stuff up too. I often make mistakes and then the things just end up in the trash, so that's not really effective recycling. It's always good to plan how you're going to do something, but when you're using old materials, you have to be flexible. Sometimes things don't turn out how you expect them. I began with the tattered hat first. That way, if I made a mistake, it wouldn't be so obvious. Then I went back and made the Southern gentleman's hat. The traditional Greek fisher cap was a little bit more demanding, but I used a photo for a fisher cap that I found and used that as a model. I made a prototype with hot glue to figure out the size. Sometimes I don't go further than the prototype and I just use the prototype, but with this one there's just too much hot glue and it's way too sloppy. After I'm finished with the prototype, I try it on the puppet to see if the size is good and what works and what doesn't work. And now I'm ready to sew the final hat. Most of the sewing projects that I do are projects that I'm doing for the first time. I don't have any patterns or expertise or advice to offer, or I couldn't even make an instructional video. I just sort of go for things. Sometimes they work out and sometimes they don't. It's the same thing when I cook. I'm really happy with how these hats turned out though. I'm going to pass this one on to the inspector.